Good morning, class. Happy New Year to all. Hope you're all doing good. So I'll be continuing with the same chapter, which I have started last month. Chapter 10, Emergence of the Composite Culture in India. So today I'll be starting with the new topic. Page number is 266. I repeat, 266. So today's first topic is Bhakti Movement in Uttar Pradesh. So in the previous class we have studied about the composite culture in India, Sufism in India, impact of Sufism in India, Bhakti Movement and Bhakti Movement in South India, Bhakti Movement in Maharashtra. So today's topic is Bhakti Movement in Uttar Pradesh. Bhakti Movement spread as it is during the time Bhakti Movement spread throughout the country and even in Uttar Pradesh also. Like in Uttar Pradesh, saints like Kabir and Ramananda were considered the chief exponent of Bhakti Movement. So during the medieval period, so Bhakti Movement in Uttar Pradesh was started by Kabir and Sant Kabir and Ramananda. So let's learn about Sant Kabir. Kabir was one of the greatest, as he was one of the greatest saint who he hailed from Uttar Pradesh in northern India, and he is considered to be one of the most cosmopolitan saint of 14th and 15th century medieval India. So he is considered one of the most cosmopolitan saint of 14th and 15th century in the medieval India, and it is believed that his mother was a Brahmin widow who abandoned the infant Kabir near a tank in Varanasi. He was found and raised by a Muslim weaver, Niru, and his wife Nima. So it is said that Kabir, Kabir. It is believed that his mother was a Brahmin, and as in infant, while Kabir was infant, he was abandoned. He left by his mother, and he was found near the water tank in Varanasi, and he was after that he was found and raised by a Kabir was raised by a Muslim. He was found as well as raised by a Muslim weaver named Niru and his wife Nima. So there is this interesting story behind Kabir becoming the disciple of Ramananda. One day Kabir laid on the steps of the batting got visited by Ramananda. Ramananda by accident stepped on Kabir and exclaimed Ram. Kabir accepted Ram as a mantra, and Ramananda, due to his faith, accepted as his disciple. After the incident, Kabir led a saintly life. So there is an interesting story about Kabir. So once Kabir, before becoming the disciple of Ramananda, one day Kabir laid on the steps. He just lied on the steps of the batting ghat, which was visited by Ramananda, and by accidentally Ramananda stepped on Kabir. So after that, steps on Kabir, and Ramananda, after when he stepped on Kabir, Ramananda said Ram. So Kabir accepted as from that day onward, Kabir accepted the Ram as the mantra, and as Ramananda due to these facts accepted. After that, Ramananda accepted him as a disciple, and after the incident, Kabir led a very saintly life. Next topic is Ramananda. So Ramananda is considered as the bridge between the Bhakti movement of the south and the north. So Ramananda Ramananda was considered as the bridge. He was considered as the bridge between the Bhakti movement of South India and North India, and he was born in 1299 in the Kayambut Brahmin family at Prayag, Allahabad, and was educated, and Ramananda was educated in Banaras. Ramananda contributed to the Bhakti movement in the following ways. So some of the contribution of Ramananda, Ramananda founded a new school of Vaishnavism, which is based on the love of devotion or bhakti. Another point is he replaced the worship, as Ramananda, he replaced the worship of Radha and Krishna by introducing the cult of Rama and Sita. Next topic is teachings of Sant Kabir. So here we will see what were the teachings of Sant Kabir. Kabir, like others, Bhakti Sen did not accept the caste system. So Kabir also he did not accept the caste system and school of Hindu philosophy and idol worship. Even school of Hindu philosophy and worship, and for ashramas of stages of life. So Kabir preached orally and in the form of small poems known as dohas, and his teachings were recorded as Kabir's teachings were recorded in the book called Bijak. So Kabir teachings preach the following. First, Kabir saw no difference between the Hinduism and Islam, and preached that Allah and Ram are the same. So he didn't find any difference between Hinduism and Muslims. So Kabir preached that Allah and Ram are same. Next point is the Vedas, the Puranas, the Quran are only different ways to describe God. So according to Kabir, the Vedas, the Puranas, and the Quran are the only different ways to describe about God. Next point is devotion of bhakti. So devotion of bhakti is the only way to reach God. Next topic is Bhakti movement in Punjab. So after Bhakti movement in Uttar Pradesh, now the Bhakti movement in Punjab. So in Punjab, Bhakti movement, Guru Nanak 1469 to 1538. So Nanak was an important in Punjab. Guru Nanak was an important exponent of the Bhakti movement, and he was the contemporary of Chaitanya. However, he was as Guru Nanak was older in age. Chaitanya was older in age. Nanak, in his attempt to spread the idea of bhakti, founded a new religion called Sikhism. So Guru Nanak was born in 1469 CE in Khatri village at Talwandi, Nankana, located 35 miles southwest of Lahore. So Guru Nanak father Kalu was the accountant. So it is said that Guru Nanak father was an accountant and his name was Kalu, and Nanak received his primary education in the local school. So Guru Nanak showed this interest in studies, and though he was not interested in his studies, but he learned Persian and began to visit forests after he learned Persian language, and after that he began to visit forests and religious men. So Nanak father tried to engage him in different fields. So but such agriculture and shopkeeping, his father tried to engage him in agriculture and shopkeeping but failed. So Nanak was married at the early age and he had two sons. One day Nanak disappeared Nanak disappeared in the village and heard a divine message. My name is God and thou art the divine Guru. So after hearing this message, he returned after 3 days. So Guru Nanak, after disappeared for 3 days, he came after 3 days and gave everything to whatever he had given, renounced everything. What he had, he renounced the worldly life and gave everything was given to the poor people. Teachings of Guru Nanak. First point is he denounced idol worship and caste. Guru Nanak also denounced idol worship and caste distinction. Next is he stated that all religion texts and ceremonies were useless. Love and absolute devotion were the only way to reach him. So every house where the praise of God were sung and considered to temple. Next is Bhakti movement in Bengal. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 1485 to 1533. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was one of the greatest saints of the medieval India. He was born in 1486 in Nawadip or Nadia district in West Bengal. His original name was Vishma Bhara and was nicknamed Nimai. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was one of the greatest saints of the medieval period. He was born in 1486 and his original name was Vishwambara and his nickname was Nimai. Chaitanya, he also adopted the name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, and he traveled the Vrindavan, South India, Orissa, and also and west, spreading the message of bhakti, and he died in Puri in 1533 CE. Some of the teachings of Chaitanya are: Chaitanya preached the sincere and passionate devotion to God leads to salvation. So he preached a very sincere and passionate devotion to God and leads to salvation. Next is, he, like others, Bhakti saint, denounced caste system. He also doesn't like the caste system and welcome Muslims and untouchables. Next is, he forbade his followers to see the face of women to make them moral in character. According to Chaitanya, he didn't allow his followers to see the face of the woman to make them moral in character. Next is, he said that universal love and brotherhood is the first way to obtain love of God. So there was also a great woman Bhakti saints. The first one is Mirabai. Mirabai 1498 to 1446. So Mirabai, one of the greatest woman Bhakti saint of India, and she was born in Mirta district of Rajasthan, and she was married early to the ruling Rajput family. So eldest son of Rana Sangha Bhojraj in 1516. So Bhojraj, his husband, Mirabai's husband, died at the prime of his life, and Mira became a young widow. And after that, since Mira, who was highly religious as a child, devoted herself completely, she totally devoted herself to Lord Krishna and became a Vaishnava, and she sang kirtans and very soon met many followers, and her fame spread everywhere. So Mirabai traveled everywhere and composed many songs in Gujaratis at Dwarka. Teachings of Mirabai. She preached that age, birth, sex, wealth cannot prevent a person from reaching God. So bhakti is the only way to attain divine grace. According to her, not only the age, not only the gender, not only the wealth, but it is not only the way to reach God, but bhakti is the only way to attain divine grace. Next is, God cannot be reached. So according to Mirabai, God cannot be reached through yoga or learning. Next point is, the fastest way to reach God by increasing one's affection for the Lord. Next, another woman was Laleshwari, 1317 to 1372 CE. So Lalet, also known as Laleshwari, was a famous woman. She was also a famous woman, Bhakti saint from Kashmir. So as she was born in Patritan, 4.5 miles from Srinagar, and she was married like Mirabai, she was also married at a very young age, but soon she developed a very deep devotion for Lord Shiva, and ultimately she left home at the age of 24 to become the followers of Siddha Shrikanta. And there are many legends associated with Laleshwari, and it is believed that she was the first woman saint to remain naked. So she wrote distinct kind of poetry. Laleshwari also wrote distinct kind of poetry known as Vatsun, and her poem were also the earliest literary work in Kashmiri. Next is Akka Mahadevi. So Akka Mahadevi, next another woman was Akka Mahadevi, was born in Shimoga district of Karnataka in the 12th century CE. So Akka meaning elder sister, and was an honorific title given by some of the great Saiva saints. So she became a devotee, as she became the devotee of Lord Shiva and considered him to be her mystical husband. So Akka Mahadevi considered Lord Shiva as her mystical husband, and she married to local Jain king Kaushika, but she gave up her life of extravagance and became a saint. So Akka Mahadevi, she lived the life of extravagance and she became a saint and singing poems to praise of Lord Shiva as a true ascetic, and she got discarded clothes, and her vachanas in Akka Mahadevi vachanas or poems have enriched Kannada literature. So I'll stop here today. In the next class, I'll be starting with the Bhakti movement in the Mughal period and the following subtopics. So that's all for today. Thank you.